Okay, good evening. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no new announcements, other than reminder the Oktoberfest is the Saturday on October 5th. This evening we've got public discussion, time cards, meeting with the planning board chair, joint meeting with the board of assessors. I think the invoice we're all set on. Woody Meisner's resignation from the trustees of the trust funds. Did Woody move?
Yes, he has.
did.
Well, he has not moved until the 29th of this month. That's his last day in town, when he
Okay.
closes on his house.
Building inspector request for a driveway name and code red. I think we're all set on that. That was last week's discussion. Then we have a non-public.
Yeah, we could talk about the police station a little bit.
Well, that is on my agenda.
Okay, grab some of my materials.
Let's start with item 1 first, which are time cards. We had previously made a decision at the board to have the salary employees submit time cards, which I think was back in June or July.
I'm not in favor of it personally. I think when that discussion was originally had, that person was on a performance improvement plan, and that's why
Describing it.
we had started where they should have been doing it. I don't think we need to be requiring our salaried employees to be submitting time cards. I think if they're reporting any changes to their time so that we understand what's going on, I'm fine with that. That's the most, I mean, I'm a salaried employee for my job, and that's the most I have to do. So if I have to take personal time or doesn't, but otherwise, I'm a salaried employee.
And how do I
Yeah.
agree with you, but you just raised something. I'm saying, how do,
It's just a simple form. I could actually get Scott a copy of it if it's something that we wanted to look at. All it says is it's 5 or 6 spots. Your hours can't be over 40. So even though you might work more than 40 that week, you just say, my regular hours were, if it's a regular week, I don't do anything different. My regular hours were 40.
I'd like to make a suggestion a little
Mhm.
bit different. I agree with you that salaried people shouldn't be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are going to take a vacation,
Mm-hmm.
take time off, that they fill out the same form that the employee has, because I think that was the issue before with Roger, is he didn't know when
Who
it
had
was
taken
happening.
time?
Yeah.
No, and
And that way there, it's, the only
Yeah.
time you need it is when you're,
yeah. If we already have a form that does that, then
yeah, it'd be the same one that the employees use when they're requesting vacation time. or
That's
whatever,
reasonable. Is there a set time frame? Have to request it 2 weeks in advance, or
Each one of those, I'll call it paid time off things, is different. Like I believe the one for vacation time, they ask for 2 weeks, and it's up to the department head to say whether, somebody comes in and says, I'd like to take Friday off. Well, if we've got something planned, it's no, and otherwise, yes.
yeah, I'm just concerned about, extended periods, say a week at a time, can really disrupt the department's schedule.
That would be for vacation time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, how much in advance should they be notifying
I
supervisor?
think that's in our employee policy.
Okay, I don't remember reading it,
yeah.
but
I think it had it in there for some reason why I'm thinking 2 weeks, but we can double check it.
okay.
Any
Yeah, I'm
So
fine
we're
with
good
that.
with that?
Good.
Yep.
Okay. Personal time off she required for small amount of time.
Right, that was a request from Roger this morning as he was finishing up the payroll. In fact, he gave me some, let's see if I can dig it out here. He gave me some time cards as an example. He says people take off, small amounts of personal time here or there, an hour, a half hour, something like that. And, he's wondering if it's even necessary for them to do that for small amounts of time.
I think if they are hourly employees, they should be,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if they're using paid time off, then they definitely should be. If they're just leaving and taking it off unpaid, then it's just they're clocking out early. But if they're gonna use PTO, then yeah, we have to have some documentation. So again, we don't have the issue of someone burning all their PTO
Yep,
and then using more.
okay.
I received the email from John that he's been scheduled for October 1st to come to the Board of Selectmen meeting. I'm still not clear, and Bert, since you're the ex officio member of
He and I have gone round and round a couple times with partially dealing with your earlier request of a month and a half, 2 months ago, about looking into a commercial zone, potentially rewriting the master plan. And he wrote up a budget a month ago after your request that I thought was very reasonable, and then he decided he was going to change that budget request to include some updates to the master plan, to have Southwest Regional do it, and he was looking to expand. Normally, I think our budget has been about $5,000, $5,200 a year, and we haven't been spending that money. A lot of it's been for consulting fees. I think there was a $2,500 consulting fee built into the planning board budget. Well, he believes that it's going to cost a little bit more. He wants to talk about it in advance before he submits it formally with the Board of Selectmen, as well as where the planning board is heading this year in terms of regulations and so forth. It's just kind of a general update. He wants to introduce himself to the board. I don't know how well you know John. Probably have seen him around a few times.
Well, I was on the planning board when
Oh,
he
okay.
was the member there also,
Okay.
so,
Okay, there we go.
and John was too,
Yeah,
so.
he just wants to talk about budget and possible other projects that the planning board membership doesn't have either the time or the expert, and wonders how much money the town is willing to put into the budget to pursue some of the other goals of the planning board.
And that's exactly, I think, how other things or other items the selectmen want, and I just couldn't correlate what it was he was thinking about, what was on his mind, so.
What's everybody looking for? Money.
So how much time would you like to give them on October 1st?
20 minutes,
That's
half an hour,
Yeah, half hour.
all right,
half an hour.
fine.
Okay, and the only reason I bring it up is because the Board of Assessors have also requested a joint meeting,
Yeah,
Yeah, at 6 o'clock.
and you know, that'll probably have to be in a non-public session, I'm assuming.
Yes,
So it's a matter of timing and where we wanna put John on the schedule before or after that.
well, definitely will be after.
Okay. And then the question is, how much time do you think the Board of Assessors discussion will take? Is that gonna be a 30-minute, 45-minute?
It depends on who talks.
Yes. Very sure. Was did he say who was coming to that? Was it the attorney from,
Yeah, the attorney, Jim Coffey,
but it was the attorney, right?
Right,
Yeah,
attorney's coming.
I mean,
I would plan on 45 minutes.
but I guess I have to ask the question, even if we have the attorney, does it still have to be non-public
Yes, because that's litigation.
litigation? Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's Matt Surge, legal counsel.
okay.
So Board of Assessors at 6:05.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And then have John come in at 6:45-ish. All right, thank you.
Well, with Woody resigning, trying to think. Carol's on there, and Benty,
Benty.
so we need a third person.
So we have to, appoint someone until March.
While you're sitting here, can we ask you to add that to the website?
Yeah.
Did he send in a
We
letter?
did.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
gave that to me this afternoon when he was here.
yeah, I talked to him this afternoon.
Could you do us a favor and just compose a letter thanking him for the time that he has served?
Sure.
Trustee of the trust funds.
I understand he's got a long history of serving in many different
Many
capacities.
different
He has.
roles
Yeah,
he
he's-
has been.
He's a moving landmark.
Yeah, no, I would like to thank him. I think ever since they've come to town, they've been participants in moving the town forward. Did you guys see the letter from Rick Donovan regarding naming another drive?
I did
I
not see
did not
that.
see that.
Yeah, I got copies here for you.
This is a part of the turnpike up as you're approaching the high school on the right-hand side. But I'm curious, first of all, was that a old subdivision or something?
I don't know.
I'd
I'm not
like to
even-
see the tax map to know whether it was
Oh, okay, so this is Butch's alignment.
Yes.
oh, and I'm thinking it was before that.
No, it's kind of I'm assuming it's Butch's alignment.
Well, right after
That is
we're,
the tax map.
So Hegan Road.
can't be. Doesn't show any property lines.
That's the tax map. Our tax maps don't.
No, this is 911.
Oh, they're the 911?
Yeah, this is a 911.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Butch's alignment, is that's where it is? Okay.
But was
Yeah,
that,
I took it off the 911.
No, I think they
because that
subdivided.
911 showed the drive going in there. Our tax maps don't show that.
Okay.
I just.
I'll grab it.
John
So
Deere.
are they looking at putting a third in there, or did they?
It should have been done years ago. There's actually already, where Butch's, lived, there's
Uh-huh.
a house and then his shop with 2 apartments above it, so that's 3 dwellings.
Okay, I didn't know there was apartments above it, right?
And then there's another house back there, so
Right.
there's 4, and this one will be 5.
So they are proposing another one?
They just got approved for a building permit to do that, so. And it does say in the deed, it is subject to the private road agreement.
Does the name have any significance?
Yeah, it's Butch LaFleur, he used to
Oh,
live
okay.
there, he just passed,
All right,
last month.
okay, so it's
Yeah.
related.
Oh, yeah, and he's been there forever.
Yes, please. Whose budget?
land use?
Did you break them, did you break their map holder?
No, I was up there and I'm like, oh, these aren't in order, so I started putting them in order. There was one folded on top. I said, now, grab that and put it in. Has no top on it.
Oh.
I said, that's why it's out of there. 16A. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, just past the Sauhegan River.
Well, the river's down here.
Yeah, you go River Road, then Sauhegan, crossing the bridge,
Right. But when you come up,
and then it should be
I
on,
think this was, this Bill Willard's place.
I think so.
And then I know there's one with a driveway in here. And that's where I thought that was.
I'm thinking it's this one here.
I'm thinking here.
No, that's only 2 acres.
Well, there's 3 houses here,
Yeah,
right?
right, there's, and, there's,
1, 2, and now a third, so it's gonna be
And-
3 lots.
yeah, well, yeah, and then there'll be a fourth
Well, there's
Yeah.
one, two,
Proposed.
He's got
three,
it.
four.
there's a house with a business. The business has 2 dwellings above it, and then they're putting in another.
Not on the same parcel.
No, a different piece of land, but they all are gonna have access from that driveway.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah.
Map and lot number?
I can get
Yeah. Did I hear you saying that was not there, he passed?
Yes.
it. It's, map 16A32.
Passed away on his birthday. No, I'm sorry. He passed last month. He was buried on his birthday.
Which?
16A32 is the
32.
lot that they're building on.
Okay. So, they're gonna come in from where? None of these lots,
Is that it?
Yeah, the whole,
That's why I took this, because this is the 911. Where are we? 32.
there's lot 32. This is the one that's gonna be built.
Yeah, and this is the drive going in right here.
So they're gonna come in and then come off of it there.
Yep, they'll come off like right in here. But there's already on this lot, there's a house and then a big garage, like a accessory dwelling unit with 2 units over it. And then there's a house back here. So there's really 4 dwellings.
Well,
And then
these
this one
two I
over.
can see having the shared driveway. Why isn't this one coming right off of Turnpike Road?
I don't think the property would have, the way the land's cut, I don't think it would.
you can't get there from here.
You can't put a driveway in
And
through
I
there.
guess the driveway's been there for years already.
terrain?
Like it's like a U-shaped driveway.
Maybe it has the frontage, but it's not directly accessible. I-
Turnpike Road, I can't imagine
There
what's
is a
not
subdivision
acceptable.
plan I could get off the registry of deeds from years ago.
I mean, could be wetlands in the way, could be a valley of some
And
sort
on
or
your
a big
deed-
hump.
On the deed, it says.
I don't know.
The private road, but they don't need the private road agreement.
What does it say?
The proposed private road to be repaired and maintained by the owners, their heirs and assigned. So this was obviously done before which they're calling it a proposed private road, it was
Right.
done before but there is a plan number. We don't have the plan here, but I could probably print it off. Registry of Deeds, plan number 12727.
But that would be for that lot, right?
Or the subdivision
Of
of
the
all 3,
subdivision.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you questioning something in particular, Dave?
I'm just, because of what we went through with Green Farm and people opposed to,
They're all the same family.
oh, so they'll,
It's all one family, I believe, that is
I
in
mean,
the.
that doesn't mean that,
No,
that
but-
doesn't mean that families are always gonna. live there.
Agree.
exactly, so that's why I was just wondering if the person that's going for this building permit ever considered just having their driveway come off Turnpike
Well, the
Road.
problem is there's already 4 dwellings on the property. They need to have it anyway.
Right.
Not, no, they don't, not for the accessory dwelling units, you don't. And so it's gotta be,
So there's a business with 2 accessory dwellings above it and 2 houses, currently.
there's the business with the house, and the business is where the accessory dwelling unit is.
2 accessory dwelling units.
So they have 2 buildings. One is the business with 2 rentals,
Yeah.
which doesn't classify as an accessory dwelling unit, but maybe back in the day.
Yeah.
And then you have the house, so that's
2
two
houses.
houses,
2 houses
Correct.
and a business with 2 accessory dwellings.
not on the same lot.
Well, there's 3 on one lot, 1 on the back.
All right, let's go, start from a clean slate.
Okay,
On one lot, we have what?
we have a dwelling, 1 single-family dwelling, and 1 business with 2 units above it.
Let's just call it the accessory dwelling,
Right, so 3
on one lot.
for 911.
So
they're
there's
gonna
one
count that
address.
as A or B or whatever, so that's 3 on one lot,
That's one address.
right?
And then what do we have?
And then we have the back lot, another,
Dwelling? So that's two.
okay,
Two lots.
2 houses,
Yep.
yep. And then, this one is the,
Would be the third.
Third.
And it's the 3 that would have to have that drive
but
name.
according to 911, they count those ADUs as
Right.
another
Right.
residence.
It's 911
If you
that's
look at
driving the change.
911 map, they show it right on there. So when they're getting called for 911, they're not like, where are we going?
But we haven't had any, that I'm aware of, any other ADU in town with a separate address from the dwelling.
Really?
Tell me one. That's all I need.
Well, I think the only reason that that they're doing it is that it's a separate building, complete separate building from the dwelling.
Okay. Let's take, I don't really know that I wanna use names. Well, I will use names, it's the public. Mr. Havistow that came in and he got an approval for an accessory dwelling unit. Separate building, it was a barn or whatever. Did they get another street number?
That, I don't know,
It's on the same
they're
lot.
getting, but see, like for us, I don't even know if we would know that. I mean, I could probably check, but they're getting their tax bill to one address, it's going to Adam.
Yeah,
But as far as them getting, I almost think they did put A and B. I'd have to check in the thing, but I think they do call it like a 124A, 124B. But I don't know if we would have record of that because it's all going to Adam on the tax bill, you know what I mean?
but I thought it was Rick that assigns the street addresses.
He does.
So wouldn't they have to come to him to get that?
Yes.
Hmm.
Mhm. And I know he has done that in the past. He's definitely signed A and B.
That's why I'm thinking this other one would have 123 A, B, C. And I don't care whether it gets named or not, but if the applicant that's building the third lot says, hey, yeah, I'd rather come off a turnpike, and the state approves it,
Yeah,
go that way and
yeah.
don't go through the naming process.
Yeah.
Just keep everything the way it is.
And be consistent with how
Yeah.
we do it.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure she wants it that way, and because my dad just,
Coming off the drive.
yeah. Because I asked her, I did the same protocol, I said we need 3 names, your number 1 choice, number 2, and number 3, and they all were LaFleur Way, LaFleur Circle, and LaFleur Drive. So I'm pretty sure.
3 times fast.
I mean, I have no issue with the naming, or allowing this to be the choice of name. As like I said, I guess we would just have to make sure that the other people, the other lots are fine with the naming.
Yeah.
That's my only thing, is, I mean, if we're worried about that, then I guess we just address it with the other 2
Yeah, I mean,
lot owners.
I just reach out to the other lot owners and say, this is what's been proposed, are you okay? From,
And are we not trying to name things historically anymore?
I am completely fine with this naming, as the business has been there for many years. He has been in town for many years, and I have no issue with this naming.
seems like an okay name to me, as long as it doesn't conflict with another one.
It doesn't, they've already checked. that.
What's in a name?
Oh. Like I said, if they were naming it, just like Fat Dog Circle or something, I would go, okay, that's kind of weird. But this is being named after the gentleman who has lived there and had his business there for many years. I don't have an issue with
I
it.
didn't think that was the way that the board was looking at it. It wasn't a matter of where they lived or how long they lived. We were going historically historic, not, but if you're good with it, that's fine.
I'm fine with this.
I'm okay.
Like I said, if there were other ones, if there was no understanding as to why, then I would question it, but I think it's very clear why they chose a name.
Let's reach out and get the other approvals and go get it, move on.
Because I look at it as, at some point, when they were naming the other roads in town, they weren't historic yet either. Like when Porter Hill was being named Porter Hill, it wasn't historic when it was named Porter Hill. It is now.
So then your vote should have been, no, we shouldn't be naming them after historic. Right?
No, what I said was there should be a reason for it when there's just like I said, when we had ones called nothing, but like Lantern Way. Those were the ones where like, well, it really, what's the, what was the reasoning behind it? I like the name. There's a reason behind this name, and I can respect that.
So this is approved contingent upon
The other two.
the other two agreeing to it?
Well, it's contingent upon the correct, and that they get the street sign for the road.
Did we offer to put up street signs for the Green Farm
We
area?
did, because that was something that got overlooked by the town when it was being approved.
Yeah.
This is already
This is
pre,
this is the initiator of the name change. So.
Good enough.
Yeah, the other one I did feel sorry for them. They'd been sitting there on the property for,
well, during the
right, the planning,
planning
it
board,
should
it
have
should
been.
have been picked up then that. And what was that name again? LAFF?
LAFLEUR. Drive.
Drive. And they should, are you gonna follow up with them with a letter?
I just have one, just so it gets on the record too. At one of our staff meetings, when we were discussing the private drives and the naming and the signage, the police chief thought it would be a good idea to put, number 23 through 27 LaFleur Drive. Because, just so they know when they get there, because a lot of times people won't have the house number out front off the driveway per se, and he said it's.
We have an ordinance that says that they have to have this.
Out front of the house. Right?
Correct.
You're right, but he just thought it would be helpful if it said, 23 through 27 Owl Drive or whatever drive.
I wouldn't agree with that. The street sign is the street name. That's the only thing that should be on there. When they go up the road, mailbox or whatever, it's supposed to have, according to our ordinances, the street numbers. I mean, I would think if we were in
Because
New
he said a
York
lot of
City
times
and you
can't
had a
see the
long
house,
road.
and you come down the driveway and there's a fork and you can't see where the house is. But it was just a suggestion that was brought up.
Who's writing the letter? Scott, or is it coming from?
I can draft it.
Okay. I would have them contact Peter for the name of the company that does the street signs, so that they're all consistent. Police station.
Police station, okay. Get past those down. Okay. I asked a question in the last meeting about what happens if we have a cost overrun on the proposed warrant article police station. And I really spent a lot of time looking at numbers and so forth. And part of what I did was I looked at methods of estimating. There's actually 10 different methods of estimating. But I also looked hard at the site. And it turns out, Dave, your estimates of 3 years ago are actually pretty good still today, for the most part. There are a couple items that I had questions on, in particularly the number for electrical. We proposed about $10,000 for electrical, and I've attached a little sketch showing all the electrical lines that are within the area of work. There's over 700 feet of lines, plus two major poles, a generator, and an antenna that have to be moved, relocated, changed out, cut, Lord knows. Now, I went to means to look at what the cost might be in that area. I picked the cheapest piece of wiring I could find, and I was aghast at the price tag. You know, they're talking over $200,000 for all that work. That's ridiculous. You'll excuse me, but it's ridiculous, but I had to throw out whatever number I found. I think it's closer to $40,000, $50,000, maybe a little bit more to cut all those lines. But there's a huge number of lines out there that are going to be affected. And some of them are above ground, some of them are underground, and so forth. So I sketched them out on the paper so we could see what was going to be changed or modified, so forth. So I think that bears at least a closer look, but whether that number that I've thrown on that piece of paper is real, I don't think it is.
Well, can I tell you what these lines are?
Yeah, go ahead.
The town installed these lines here that go to building 2
Okay,
when we had our telephone system there.
okay.
Okay, since then, we don't have the telephone system there.
If
There
those,
was, bear with me a second. We also had the generator backfeeding here.
Yep.
Well, when that generator gets disconnected, we won't be here with it anymore.
okay.
There is no electric that feeds the building 3 from this building. There may be services for telephone or whatever that went through here to there, but they no longer exist.
Well, there's a wire going right across the parking lot.
We have many wires here.
Yeah, exactly.
That antenna, granted at the time was donated and installed, but that would end up coming off, whether we still need it or not, because that's for ham radio, and I'm not sure, and that'd be a good question to ask Mark to see, Mike, whether he uses ham radios or
Yeah.
not.
Okay,
This is the line that $10,000 budget is referring to as the one that goes from here to the utility pole and back.
okay.
And I've contacted,
Eversource, or,
who's my contact? Connor Jennings at Eversource, for them to get back to us with a price to relocate that service so that it was out of the way, so we can know what that number should be.
okay. I'm just saying that the 10,000 to move a pole or a couple of poles seemed a little on the low side. I don't have a good feel for it because I'm not an electrical engineer.
I don't think an electrical engineer can give you a price.
Okay,
You
so,
ask anybody, what's it cost to move a utility pole with service on it? We better get a hold of the utility company. And so that's why I did.
okay, all right. So I'm just saying that
Yep.
I feel that number,
But these lines here, there's no interconnection from this building for us,
Okay.
other than that
Okay.
generator.
that's something we need to make very clear to whoever ends up designing this particular site, that these lines are dead lines or non-functional and can be removed with impunity. Okay, that's fine. The other thing I had a question about was septic system. How are we servicing this building?
That would have its own septic. This building or
The
police?
the
Would
proposed
have
building.
its own septic system.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a line item in there. I put
That's under the site work.
I put it in under site work, and actually the site work that I calculated out came in less than the $400,000
Good.
with that included. So I wasn't sure if it was real or not. And I assume we also have to run a pipe from the existing well back to this building.
Or put in another
Or
well.
put in another well, which is $7,000-8,000 for a well.
And that,
Okay. All right. So yeah, we can reduce that down. The other thing that I looked at was the architectural fees. Means called for 7.5%. Now I know that you were negotiating with Warren Street Architects, and I think you knocked them down to something slightly under 5%. Well,
I didn't knock them down to anything.
Well,
They gave us a proposal.
they give.
That's the number that's in there.
That's the number that's in there. Question is it still good after 3 years? I don't know. So I went with what Means gave me was 7.5%, which is their recommendation with the engineering fees included.
I'm sure we can get it done for
I
that
think
number.
we can get it done for less, but whatever. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was I did calculate out the actual areas of what's going to be used. I entered the whole thing into the computer and calculated out, there's some numbers there for the main offices, the Sally Port, we have an attic storage area and the entrance overhang. They're pretty close. And for the fittings, it's actually less than what you calculated.
What do you, I have no understanding of what you have here.
Okay, the police station itself, the main offices, $212 a square foot,
Which is high.
which is basically an 80% confidence level.
Whose confidence, yours?
Nope, no, I based it off of means and the data available, and I did a probability analysis,
All
not
right.
just a,
Right, you mentioned
yes.
last week about means, and I don't wanna dispute, but I told you I looked at means when I did the estimate.
yep,
And here's my screen tape printout from RS means,
yep,
okay? A 7,000 square foot police station, cause that's the smallest that their program
Okay.
does, okay? With a limestone and concrete block, or face brick and concrete block, or decorative and concrete block. Now, those were the only options on 2019 means.
yep,
All range from $229 as the low, up to $278 a square foot.
right,
Okay. These numbers don't include many items. If I go down here, doesn't include cells,
yep.
elevators, emergency lighting, flag poles, lockers, etc. So I don't know where your numbers are coming from when you say you get them from means. Are you looking under something
I'm
different than a
I am
police station?
I'm looking under means, but I'm also, I went national and I went local. Okay?
Well, local is what we need to look
Well,
at.
local, and
And this is based on natural.
what you're suggesting is we're well over $212?
No, I'm saying we're, in my estimate,
Yeah,
the building cost is $200 a square foot.
okay, because you're looking at a wood frame structures versus the masonry unit.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's why I'm saying that's why they are so high.
And that's
Yeah.
why I'm pretty much where you are, because if you take a composite of all these things, I'm right around $200 a square foot for the total building. Because what I'm I mean, I'm talking offices, but then the sally port per square foot is a lot less than that. The attic storage area is a lot less. The entrance overhang is a lot less.
I don't know that I would have put the Sally Port less than the office areas.
It's just a simple garage. I used a commercial basis for it. You know, again,
Yeah.
the problem is we do not have very specific design parameters. I mean, bulletproof glass comes in 8 different varieties. Bulletproof walls come in 6 different varieties.
But we know we haven't designed anything
We
or
have that
budgeted for that.
exactly.
Right.
That
So
is
we-
my concern.
Right, we haven't budgeted. The chief says, yes, it's great to have protection in some areas if we can afford it.
Right.
But the main goal has always been get a facility that will work for them. So when we get to the nitty-gritty, let's call it, or the details, that's stuff that they'll have to work through. But I'm trying to look at the big picture to say, okay, will the budgets that we have presented work? And last week you were expressing, at least my read on it was that there is no way we're gonna be able to do this at this price. And that's why I asked you to bring in your information.
That's why I ran a spreadsheet. That's why I looked at this very hard. That's why I analyzed it on the site. And I do site design for a living. That's what I do every day of every week.
So tell us what the cost of the site's gonna be.
I can design the site. I never did the damn things. But anyway, no, I did tell you what
Alright.
the cost of the site is.
Yeah.
And you estimated $400,000. I estimated $364,000.
So
So we're close.
Right.
You know, I mean, we are looking at effectively the same numbers. And I said that at the start of this conversation. We just break the costs out a little differently. I am concerned, one, with some of the architectural aspects, how much that's gonna cost, and if it's gonna drive the cost up over. And I am still concerned because of the stage we're in.
can you go back and just define what you meant by the architectural cost?
Uh,
You talking
The
design, or you talking the building
I'm
design?
talking building design and site design, because they're included. That $90,000 that you budgeted should include both the architectural and the engineering design, because the engineer would be a subcontractor.
Correct, for
To-
both civil, structural, and MEPs.
And, correct.
Correct.
Correct. So that's what I was really looking at.
But when you look at means and they tell you it should be
7.5%.
that's just architectural.
No, not according to means. I looked at the means in the fine print. It says includes the engineering, site engineering, as well as the architectural, but does not include certain specialties, like for instance, if we needed an electrical engineer to play with these
You won't
wires.
get design and MEP, all your engineering for 7.5% on the cost of the building.
That's what means
Not
said.
in means, I mean.
That's what means said. That's what said. I can bring the book in and we can argue about
That's
the
what I
fine
thought you were
print.
gonna bring in, I would have
No.
enjoyed that one.
No, that'd be fine. But anyway, that was a concern.
Good.
And the contingencies.
Mhm.
Now, basically, because of inflation, your numbers are from 3 years ago, 2016, and there's no way we're gonna build this thing until maybe the fall of 2020. Maybe. Because you're not even gonna get the vote until March of 2020. And I'm figuring on a 4-month design time and then a couple months review for revisions. Basically, the inflation factor of somewhere between 3 and 4% is going to eat up all that contingency and then some that you had built in of $60,000.
And that's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
Okay. You questioned last week the numbers.
Yep, and I still
You
do.
went, okay. Look, Brett, I'm not here to debate you. We as a board have to put forth a budget.
We do.
What budget do you want to put forth?
I'm going to suggest a little bit different warrant article than we normally put together. Now, John, we were talking about taking some money out of the capital reserve funds, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think,
Back up. capital reserve
Or,
funds,
or town funds, excuse me,
The,
town funds.
fund balance.
fund
Fund
balance.
balance,
Correct.
yes. Okay, let me get the
Yeah,
nomenclature
I knew what he
correctly.
meant.
I didn't.
Okay, fund balance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to suggest putting forth a warrant article for the $2 million that we've said this thing would cost, but split the differential of the fund balance slightly. Ask for a bond of a 1.5 million, take $500,000 fund balance, and as part of the warrant article, ask for the ability, the right, the authority to spend an extra $200,000 for contingencies. Now, we're still offering them a $2 million police station, but it gives us the authority to maneuver within that to a small extent.
I think it makes it cloudy.
I think it sinks it. And you know why?
Go ahead.
The point is, people are gonna say, if they're asking for 2, and we give them 2.2, it'll cost 2.2. My view is, you ask for what it's gonna cost, and you make it work to that number. If things don't get put in that we were budgeting for, then they don't get put in.
So what you're going to do is you've made promises of a police station with all these amenities, and then you're going to, when the dust clears, provide a half or partially finished project.
No, you provide a finished product.
If you're not giving the people what you've promised them, then you're not giving them their money's worth.
Bert, you keep coming out with what you promised them. We are telling them, we are asking them to vote on a warrant article for a bond to build a police facility. Okay? The numbers are the numbers. You just confirmed what we had in there for budgets. You're there now, okay? From 3 years ago.
Yep.
Okay. I work in the construction industry. From 3 years ago, I would tell you the numbers have significantly increased.
Yep.
Okay? They have. But if you asked me 4 years prior to 16, where were the numbers? The numbers decreased. And that's the way the industry goes. It goes up and down.
It does.
So where it's going to be next year, I don't know. I can tell you, I really doubt it's gonna take 4 months to design this. I would anticipate by next summer, they're in the ground. Barring that aside, it's like anything else. You have a home you wanna build, and you have X amount of dollars, you're gonna price that up to get the home built. If there's something that is coming in over the budget, I may have to go with plastic laminate countertops instead of Corian, or
With a grant.
I'm gonna have to go with vinyl flooring instead of tile. There are things you look at. Do they have an effect on the operation of the police? No. It's just that you're using a different product. It's not the ideal product. Hey, maybe in 10 years we're replacing this flooring that could have lasted 15. But those are what you need to do when you have to work within a budget.
I understand that. I suggest simply there is an alternative, and we can try, and you're concerned about clouding the issue, I understand that. But I'm suggesting that until the parameters for this are set in some way or form, that this proposal should be reworked.
Okay, if that's the case, then we should not be trying to get this police station approved. Because the way to do, if you want to go it by your methodology, What we should be doing is asking the voters to raise and appropriate the funds to have the facility designed and engineered, and then go out and get that priced, and then come back another year and ask for the money to have it constructed
That does provide a comfort level
for you.
for,
A
lot of people.
Maybe for the voters, okay?
and yes, you
I
could do
don't
it that
agree
way.
with that.
I don't agree with it either, because that's what they did in Ashby 2 years ago, and they still don't have a police facility started.
Yeah, and I can understand that could happen too. We could have a wonderful design sitting in the closet somewhere,
Oh, they haven't even,
Which you paid for.
which we paid for, yes.
You paid for. So then when that gets rejected, you don't get your facility, it comes back, well, let's raise some more money to have it redesigned.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you an example. And I'm not gonna name the town, okay? Well, I will name the town. Barrington, okay? They have had a proposal put out 4 different times for a town office. The last time they put it out, which is now, they have spent over $400,000 in architectural and engineering fees on all the other proposals trying to make it work. $400,000?
I know.
That's a lot
You
of
know,
money.
and, I look at places like Hampstead. They went out and they got authorization to build a 7,500 square foot police station, 1.6 million. And they built it, and they went over budget by $180,000. And they had to go back and somehow figure out where that money was coming from.
So who wasn't watching the budget?
I do not know.
I didn't mean for you to have the answer, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, can happen in many instances. If someone's not watching the dollars, those things will happen.
I absolutely understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying that until the design parameters are set, I'm not comfortable with the number.
What do you wanna do? We can talk through this all
We
night
can-
long.
we can
We're
beat
not
it to
gonna get
death.
anywhere, yeah.
But I did come up with some suggestions for some cost changes, or ways to try to cut some costs. I mean, I haven't heard anything concrete, but, just kind of looking at it and saying, okay, what can we do to try to cut some costs? We can possibly reduce the parking area. That reduce, knock, $40,000-$50,000 off of it. Right now, we got 64 parking spaces proposed. Do we need 64 parking spaces? I don't know. It's a question.
Some of it's required by square footage of the building.
And things like the roof. Standard roof for a police station would be 80 pounds per square foot, but if we're not accept.
Excuse me, Bert? Please, don't go there. Unless you know the code, don't go there.
That's what we're looking at, but anyway.
Do you know New Ipswich is in a very selective area for the roof load requirements, for snow load?
No, I did not.
It is very stringent by the code.
But, okay.
So, we shouldn't be looking at engineering for building. Cost savings items, there aren't many. The gentleman that came to meeting that we had,
Yep.
they even made a suggestion is that, if you can't make these numbers work on the site number, is put off redoing the front entrance. We could do that. It would still work. But, all right, let me just finish and then you can have your hopper. And like I told him, I says, is that the ideal situation? No. Could it work? Of course it does. There's no 2 entrance or segregation of police at the rental facility. How much would we save? Quite a bit. And those are the things that I think have to happen, not at this level here. When that gets to a design and to a pricing, hey, This is where we are at this point in time when we're ready to build. This is what I've got for a budget. This is what I have for a cost. Gotta make the two work.
Dave, that's your opinion. But
These
you're
are all
welcome to
just
it.
my opinion, Bert.
Well,
But
we
doing
got-
this for a living
I understand.
is why I can say I've seen this happen for 30 years, okay?
I'll tell you honestly, my first job was cost estimating.
But what do you do now?
Now I do site design.
Okay. This is what I do. This is my living.
Okay, anyway, yeah, I did look at this, I looked at it in depth,
Yeah.
and,
I'm glad to see
I'm
you
uncomfortable.
confirm the numbers.
I'm happy with the building numbers. Those seem to work very well.
Last week you weren't, so that's
Last
why.
week, I was not.
Right.
Absolutely.
So now that you've done your homework and,
I'm
Confirm
comfortable with the building numbers. You know, there are some other issues out there, but they're minor, that need to be resolved. But other than that, it's just that, you know, we're at $2 million for this project. And until we set the design parameters, I am uncomfortable telling people they're gonna get one thing and delivering something else.
We're not. We're saying you're going to get a police facility. They're going to get a police facility. We don't tell them the color of the carpet or what the floor is being made out of or what kind of, grade paint we're putting on the wall. Police facility, police facility.
so is this board in favor of proceeding with a warrant article for a police station at the budget that we've previously discussed, $1,980,000?
I am, yes.
I'm gonna abstain.
May I ask why? You're a selectman. We have to do things as a board.
We do, but I don't necessarily have to approve of what the board does as a whole.
You don't, so you can vote no.
I can also vote abstain or present. And I will say this, I am very much still in support of a police station. And the price doesn't bother me. I don't care if it's $2 million, I don't care if it's $2.5 million. That is not the issue here. I just want to make sure that when we put out a warrant article, that we have everything covered and we do the site plan as proposed, that we have the design costs covered, that we have the building costs covered, that everything goes as we have proposed it to go. Not, oh, well, we gotta cut back here, oh, we have to cut back there, and so forth. I do not want to do that. That is my major concern.
You can't have it both ways.
Sure I can.
You
You
can't.
can't, Bert. I mean,
You can't.
it's exactly like what he said. When you go, you're going to construct a house and you go to the bank and you get a loan, and your loan is for X amount of dollars, and then your contractor comes up and he says, well, you know what? The price on lumber went up 2%.
Forget 2%. Mr. Trump just put a tariff on Canadian lumber. It went up 30%.
Okay? So you can't go to the bank and now go, I want more money. No, you're at what you were approved for. So you have to find that cost saving somewhere else in the construction of that house. That's what we're going to have to do. This is the budget that we have.
And
if we can't get 1.2 passed, we're working on trying to get 1.98 passed, and you're saying, no, let's go for 2.4.
No, 2.2, but 200,000 of that is a contingency. It is not spendable unless we run into cost overruns or unexpected things.
And who gets to decide what that is?
That
Because
would-
that's gonna be the question that the voters would put to us is, oh, cost overruns.
That would be
Right.
the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of going with the original budget, the 1.98. And I think from further discussion on this, for further meetings, we're moving forward past that. I don't wanna keep coming back to defend how we got there or where we're going. If,
Nope, I'm done.
we get numbers that can somehow reduce it, whether it's, say, Eversource says, no, we'll move that, you're a town entity, we'll move it for no cost, whatever, then we take it off. But I just want to keep moving forward. It seems we're hovering.
We got-
So is there an official vote on this?
Yeah, it's 2-1.
No, it's two,
I
and one
abstain,
abstention.
yeah.
How do we want to take care of the next? Because we got Lori here. We can't do both with them all in the room.
Where is our agenda? Which one comes
We
first?
already did.
Lori, okay. Any new business we need to discuss in public first?
No, I'm done.
All set.
All set? Make a motion?
Which one?
Laurie,
Okay.
you sure?
You sure?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Motion going to non-public under 91A3. 2C, matters which are discussed in public would likely adversely affect the reputation